Hello YouTube, this is Bowtied Media here, and today we have got a reaction video that is a little different than what we normally do on this channel. First time we're actually going to look at another video on this channel, I think, other than the Swarty one, I would say. But yeah, we are going to be putting out, we're going to be looking at Stanley's video on the decline of Monstercat. That's Pointless Downfall, featuring Mr. Galley75. And yeah, Stanley just put out a video recently about Subsidia, I believe it was, and how pointless it was. Yeah, conceptually wrong. Well, and honestly, I love this kind of style of video. The video essay, it's well put together, it's well edited, it's funny. So give Stanley some love. I'll link the original video down below if you want to go check that out. But we're going to be reacting to this. So I have not seen this video at all. I have no idea what this is about, or I know what it's about, but I have no idea what is going to be talked about in this video. So yeah, this can be different. We're gonna pause and start, and we're gonna play and stop, and we're gonna just go back and forth until we just have some conversation about this. So I am very intrigued to see this. It's a very hot topic right now in the world of Monstercat, of the downfall of Monstercat or decline of Monstercat. So we're here to see if that is reality or not. So let's hop into the video. Let's go.
Well, this is the first video of the three that you guys voted for, so here we go. Let's scroll back in time to 2011, when EDM hadn't quite reached its big boom yet, and Rage Face Comics first debuted it to the internet. The only big EDM labels around this time were Mousetrap, Never Say Die, and only partially the Mac. These labels were already quite big in size for the time being, but on July 1st, it happened. Cars 2 became the top movie at the box office. Let's fucking go, Cars 2, sweet! Alright, but seriously speaking, in July 1st, one of the most important and influential labels in modern EDM history was born, and its name was Monstercat.
Great intro. Nice.
Monstercat was created by Mike Darlington, Eri Peonanen, and Jose Quintero Mena. This small, insignificant little label began uploading videos on July 4th, releasing Dubstep Killed Rock and Roll by Afixa, officially called the first song of the label. Slowly but surely, the label kept on releasing music that I assume was quality at the time, because let's be real, nobody listens to these songs anymore. And so in just a week, Monstercat released its first compilation, Launch Week. And it's garbage nowadays, but you know, it was really impressive at the moment. Monstercat kept on slowly...
Yeah, so real quick, we'll stop here. There's already a minute and 30 in without saying anything, but yeah, Launch Week, it didn't stand the test of time as much. It was... the songs weren't as timeless as some of the other tracks, early tracks of Monstercat have been. Like, even Top of the World by Stephen Walking kind of stands up today more so than any other songs. A lot of 007 also stood the test of time. It was more of a timeless, so... That makes sense. It's the time. It was the world of EDM then, but yeah. So the stuff wasn't great. I don't know. I'm interested. Do you guys listen to the stuff earlier than whatever? I think the earliest thing I consistently listen to is 16. Like I would say majority of the project I listen to still consistently, somewhat. But yeah. Okay, let's keep going.
But surely evolving until we reached the big year, 2014. For many, 2014 was not a year, but the year for Monstercat. There was so much creativity coming from diverse artists such as Pegboard Nerds, Rogue, Remesis B, Nitrophon, AU5, Fractal, Stonebank, Droptop, Cakes and Point, you name it. And 2015 continued that.
Yeah, 2014, 2015, I would say is categorized as the golden years of Monstercat. And if any of you aren't familiar with the term of the golden years or the golden age or the bronze age, silver age, it comes from comic books originally. Well, obviously from history. But in terms of like talking about a specific media niche, it comes more so from comic books. Where, yeah, the golden age of Monstercat, just because the stuff wasn't... Just because it's not in the golden age anymore doesn't mean the songs aren't good. Doesn't mean the label isn't good. It's just like it's when it saw the most explosive growth and the most diversity, or not even that much. I guess actually back then there wasn't even a ton of diversity, but it just had tons of growth, and it's a time that lots of people go back to and say is nostalgic. I personally am one of those people that I think 2014 to 2016 was some of my favorite years of Monstercat. So yeah, that's a lot of people have that sentiment that that year was like the golden age, the golden year. So.
streak on a softer but still amazingly consistent route. Some artists came and went, but everything was mostly remaining very impressive. But then 2016 rolled around, and it was the first of many years to come that started to demonstrate how what was new at the time was getting old. A lot of artists were experimenting by themselves or with other labels, and some others started to lack the flair that made them so strong in the first place. The first half of 2016 was fine, but after the 5-year anniversary, things were starting to change. Suddenly, the label for more industrial.
Yeah, I would say there was a big shift after that specific year of 20 after the 5-year anniversary, actually specifically. If actually we go here, I have a mega Monstercat sheet, I call it, my catalog for everything. I actually have my own, what I believe to be the time periods, the eras of Monstercat. I have the early days, the ramping up era, the established format, and then I have what I consider the golden age to be that 2013, end of 2013 to the end of the anniversary, the end of Monstercat, of the 5-year anniversary of 2016, and the Silver Age with a new format, and then the Bronze Age where Instinct and Uncaged was split, and then now was the Silk era, what I consider we are still in the Silk era. So I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but I had that categorized from earlier, and so that's what I believe. So I think the Golden Age lasted longer. I personally think that 2014 to, or even late 2013 to 2016, 5-year anniversary is all that Golden Age, not just 2014, but yeah, it's besides the point. Let's keep going.
And more focus in the glamour rather than satisfying both the fans and the artists. However, this is only the beginning of a rapid storm of events that would start to show Monstercat's cracks. This is a little bit subjective, but 2017 was not a great year for the label at all, in my opinion again. I feel like the management team treated this year as an afterthought. The year was kicked off with 030, the final numbered Monstercat compilation, and then decided to completely reboot the label with a new compilation, Uncaged Volumes. These were the exact same thing until 2018 rolled around, and 2018 literally snapped the label in half. It was one of the most important years in the label's history. It started the entire split. Whether you like this change or you dread it, you have to admit, you weren't expecting Monstercat to get neutered like that. Uncaged became a sub-label for the heavy side of EDM, whereas Instinct, the entirely new sub-label, was going to focus on a more relaxed style. And for the most part, 2018 and 2019 seemed like really good years. They added a moderate amount of new people to the mix, and they handled their own barriers between heavy and melodic well. But then it hit us. 2020, the year universally known for being 2020. Now this was the first year that started to show the mold inside of the group. The year wasn't even kicked off that bad, it's just summer hit and it completely shattered everything. Firstly, remember the satisfaction that Monstercat was trying to bring in? The feeling of having a family to cherish the releases of artists you know and love? Well fuck you, here's a Vitamin C remix. This entire period.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a very weird, specific thing to point out, I think, in this video. The Vitamin C remix of, what was it, Blink-182? That's I don't know. That feels like a very weird thing to pick out of the whole mix, even though, because it is Half an Orange kind of listening to their own song, remixing their own song. So I don't know. That feels odd for me to point out specifically, but whatever.
It felt absolutely horrible. It's not like the quality of the label was bad. In fact, July 2020 had some great songs released, but there was too much happening. There were so many things happening at the same time. Muzzle P, the 9-year anniversary, the new Direct EP, Saturday surprise releases for August, Instinct Volume 6, Rocket League remixes. Like sure, I'll digest all of this. It started to feel way too convoluted for its own good.
Yeah, that's an interesting note. That's an interesting idea to say that there was too much going on. Because I don't know. I don't know if I would consider that. A lot of things you named here or that Stanley named here are like pretty different within the grand scheme of stuff. Like, let's look at this.
Muzzle P.
Okay, so this is an artist LP. So this is like Muzz's own album. And then the 9-year anniversary, which is a compilation.
The new Direct.
And this is just a direct EP. Like it's just an EP.
Direct EP.
Those come out all the time now.
Saturday surprise release.
The surprise releases from Half an Orange, which were, I'd say, welcome surprise. It wasn't really added a ton to the label at the time, and we have way more songs released on every week now, just because the Saturday one was here. We have so much more because of Silk.
Instinct Volume.
The mainline compilation, the Rocket League Legacy thing, which I think that started to go downhill a little bit with the Rocket League stuff, just in terms of it wasn't like a big event anymore. But like this is still like a very side thing.
remixes. Like, sure, I'll do.
So yeah, I don't know. I think those are interesting to say like that, because if you look at stuff today, so let's look back at that time period. So let's go Instinct, or no, let's go Legacy, Rocket League Legacy. So this is Vicestone. Still Vicestone. Wait, what? Okay, so here's the Rocket League Legacy stuff. So let's look. So this is the time period they're talking about here. So let's do this. So we had, in this time, we had Rocket League Legacy. We still had Uncaged. Uncaged 6 or Instinct 6 just came out. The Promised Land had just come out. Legacy stuff from Welcome City. Oz, it was coming out at the time too. Forever Flame, Memories, Barricade, the Mostly We Grow, Half an Orange stuff is here. And so like this doesn't feel like it's super like condensed. There's the Odyssey EP randomly here from Direct. Like the Ellis EP I think was way better than the Odyssey one, but yeah, I don't know. It just feels like there's some stuff here, but like if you look at how much there is here with compilations and the second releases of EPs, so on the left side is compilations, on the other side is EPs, or albums. So if you look at this, obviously with the compilation, that just shows what songs are on each compilation. But if we go to the top nowadays, it's still pretty full of similar stuff. Like there's a lot of EPs. I know a lot of them are Silk now, but there's a lot of stuff that's being released all the time. Like if you go down just like a month ago, and here, like, look at this. We had Sparkles. We had the Terry EP, the Gigi Madri. We had Bound to Divide. We had the Wonder Years. We had Leotrix, Klaus Rose, and we had Throttle. We had everything here. Like, well, there's just so much more EPs that come out in the X Saga, the Anne Friends EP, the ELE, and then all the other stuff. Agony District started coming out at this point. So, I don't know. I just think it's to say that Monstercat, part of its downfall was because of how condensed everything was and how much there was happening. It just feels weird. Also because we want more stuff, right? Like the idea is we want to hear more things. We want to hear more music. So, okay, let's keep going though.
Just all of this, it started to feel way too convoluted for its own good. It started to feel like Monstercat wasn't caring about the quality anymore, but more so about the quantity. It also felt like...
Yeah, I hear that sentiment too. Yeah, I get that sentiment. I do understand the idea of Monstercat feeling like they had so much quality before, and now they swapped. They're going for more quantity than quality. I think that's that's just kind of the nature of having 6 releases a week, of having Silk and Uncaged and Instinct, and there's just a lot more that comes out. I personally would semi-agree with the sentiment that Monstercat's putting out more quantity than quality. I just think the artists that the label are trying to attract right now is just not what I normally like a ton in my EDM, my music. So that's just a difference in me versus the label a little bit. And so I think I was aligned a lot more with the label in the early years and what I consider those golden years. And then as time has gone on, I think we've just drifted a little bit in what I want to hear versus what Monstercat wants to put out. And that's okay. But I do understand the sentiment. I hear it a lot. I partially agree that they're going for more quantity now than quality.
The sub-labels were becoming way more subjective, and it felt like they were starting to completely mislabel some songs. And it kept on feeling like this until the end of Christmas. And so we ventured to 2021, the year that happened before yesterday. There was 2 things that defined this year: the pointless one-offs and the Silk acquisition. The thing is, I feel like this year's debuts have been, without a doubt, the least memorable ones yet. There's been so many new artists this year that have either dropped a song, dropped 2 songs, dropped 3, or dropped an EP, then proceeded to completely vanish without a trace. What is the point of this? I'm having this script being written on July 2nd of 2022, exactly 1 day and 11 years after Monstercat's foundation. And since I only really started to become a fan in very late 2018, I can't really fathom how it must have felt to be a fan in its old golden age. So that's why I brought my friend Mr. Galley75 here. Let's go!
God, how long has it been since I popped into a YouTube video? I mean, I haven't uploaded in over a year, and I'm pretty disinterested in making videos, but suddenly I got asked to be here, and here I am. Alright, well, might as well start from the beginning and say that I haven't had the longest possible journey with Monstercat. I discovered the label in September of 2015, and it was just in time for 2 of my favorite compilation albums the label ever put out, 024 and 025, and it was really cool coming home from school every day and checking the Monstercat YouTube channel to see who was putting out music every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and also checking out the Monstercat podcast every Tuesday that I had available to see what was releasing next, and guessing the mystery tracks, who could have made them, potentially weeks before those songs were released. Almost every song back then hit some form of identity. Each artist had a recognizable style and created music that had structure, unique ideas, and the production to back all that up. The week that I discovered the label happens to have 3 of my favorite songs from the label, including Blast from the Past by Stonebank and Atlantis by AU5. Both of those songs are simultaneously beautiful and heavy, 6-minute journeys of songs, something that Monstercat would never think of releasing nowadays. I would say.
Okay, that's an interesting comment. Something that Monstercat wouldn't even think of releasing nowadays. Monstercat has some, yes, there hasn't been a lot of songs like that as of recent, but like even look at the Infected Mushroom song, which I'm not sure when this was edited versus when the, or I guess it's August 5th, I guess, of when Cookies in Space, or Cookies from Outer Space had come out at this point. So let's look back at this. So let's see any of these longer songs. I would agree that there's not as long stuff, but Boss Fight's new tracks are fairly long in comparison to other stuff. Let's just quickly go through some of these and see if I can even think. Obviously, there's a Cookie from Space. Rogue stuff isn't as long nowadays. Guiding Light and Starlight is a little bit more laid back, a little bit more not as long. I can't think of, I don't have times in here for how long these tracks are, but I think like generally, yeah. I think generally I agree with that sentiment. Yeah, I think it's just the different style that Monstercat's going for nowadays. It's a little more commercial oriented, not as long. I wouldn't say not long-winded, but as more. It's not so much of a journey. Like we don't hear tracks that take you on a journey as much as you used to, and so that's why Cookie from Space was such a nice breath of fresh air. So I do agree with that. I do agree with that a bit. Just bad time with the Cookie from Space, but other than that, I think generally I agree with the sentiment.
Say the label changed after 2017 or so, but personally I enjoyed that era of the label quite a bit as well. Sure, the music wasn't quite on the same level, but it was cool to see a new generation of artists enter the label. And the Uncaged concepts were an interesting change at the time. The label was in a new era, and it was cool until around the end of 2019. And soon enough, 2020 rolled around and something felt different. There were more like very popular and big artists joining the label, and some of it didn't feel genuine. A lot of us songs started to blend together, and Uncaged was becoming known for mostly heavy dubstep and borderline rhythm stuff, and Instinct was bloated with poppy future bass and housed with little to no innovation. Both of those sub-labels were releasing the bare minimum thing that they were known for. There was no real room for creativity as much as there used to be. And the long-standing artists were still releasing, but it felt like there were so many new, seemingly random signings from artists that weren't even making anything unique. Nowadays, in 2022, there's 6 releases a week, and the acquisition of Silk Music, which personally I quite like when I'm in the right mood for it. The issues with Uncaged and Instinct are still there, but with the complete removal of the compilation albums that the label were known for, it feels like there's nothing really to look forward to with every release. There was a story.
That's interesting. I get that idea too. I understand that sentiment. I remember that when labels kind of got axed, slowly as time went on, I think Monstercat really did make the right decision with that, because when the early compilations were coming out, I was so excited to listen to them. I was so excited to be like, oh yes, new compilation. At that time, I didn't stream songs. I literally had them on. I played them a little bit on YouTube, and then when the album came out, I bought the album on iTunes. Yeah, so I understand that, feeling so excited, so ready for the next round. It felt like a real event in time where everyone's like, okay, now these are all the new songs. Let's say what our favorites are and all this kind of stuff. And so I get that. As time went on, though, with the Uncaged and Instinct stuff, even at the end of like the 030, I don't know if it's because I just got older, I wasn't as gung-ho about the compilations. Like when it got to like 28, 29, 30, I wasn't like, yay, the new compilation. I'm like, oh, I'm streaming all the stuff now, and so I just listen to the songs as they're released. Like that's just the nature of it now. And so as it went on, I was like not as excited, and then Uncaged and Instinct stuff came out, and I wasn't again as like gung-ho about the compilations, and slowly it faded out. And so I really do understand the notion of not feeling as anticipated for the compilations. And there don't feel like a ton of events in Monstercat where we all kind of come together and celebrate the release of a new thing. It's always like, it's all tinier pockets of celebrating new songs or new EPs or new LPs, and not like a big culmination coming together. So I get that. I think that is just the way that music is going nowadays, though. There really isn't a ton of more. There isn't these event things anymore. You're not going on, we're not all going on iTunes to download this or Bandcamp and buy it. We're not doing that anymore. It's like stuff is just coming out right away, and we're streaming it, as it's come out, as singles come out for albums. And so I get it. I don't love it, but that's just, I think that's Monstercat adapting to the music industry as a whole. I don't think that's really anything against them. So
with those first 30 compilations. Seeing the artworks for each one was like seeing a storybook unfold before your eyes.
That was very cool.
Music was completely disconnected from that story, but it somehow all made sense.
Fair.
And Monstercat had a clear identity, but now it feels like that identity's been lost. Right when they started it to tell a bit of a story with the Uncaged compilations, they just kind of ended. There was like something about a lost city, but no one ever knew what that was about, and they never explained anything about it. I still follow the label and enjoy a decent bit of the music they release, but with this new branding and less diversity in the music, it doesn't feel quite the same as it used to.
Some things that are also worth talking about are the malpractices, which are the main reason on why I decided to stop making videos that spoke about this label. I won't be talking about this for a long time because I don't want to make this seem the first reason on my disappointment towards this label, but the NFTs and the bloated schedules are some absolutely disgusting ideas that I didn't want to represent and support with my channel when I used to rank stuff. I know there's been a lot of drama about this already, and I don't want to spark another flame, but I just want to state that quickly in order to get it over as soon as possible. Also, this is Stanley from the future, but Monstercat has just collabed with ExxonMobil, which is literally another perfect reason to add to the bag of malpractices that are setting this label apart. Monstercat still is.
Yeah, that's always such a big thing with this. I really don't think the mobile one is a big deal. I personally don't think it's so much of a big deal. That's just me. NFT stuff, I'm very indifferent from NFTs, and I made the video once before, and even though the title was very clickbaity, I in the end did say it was your own opinion on it all. It is sad. It does put Monstercat in a bit of a bad light, even though you don't need to care about the NFTs to listen to Monstercat and care about Monstercat and care about the artists. You don't need to care about the mobile ones. So I don't know. It just, to me, I just do a better job of disconnecting that stuff from the label, and I don't personally care a ton about what those other things are. I can just ignore them and just live on with my life and keep listening to the label. But everyone is obviously right to their own opinions and stuff. But it does suck. Monstercat is putting themselves in a bad light with that sense, because there has been a very outspoken community that has said that they don't like these things that Monstercat is doing, and Monstercat continues to do them. So that's the biggest thing that is the downfall for me, the bit of a part where it's like, okay, if you did it at first and people are like, oh, I don't like this as much. But it seemed to me, obviously we don't have all the detail, there was a lot of people that were very outspoken about the stuff that they didn't like it, they didn't want Monstercat doing this, and then they continued to do it. So, I don't know. This is, again, it's really up to your own interpretation, whatever you want to feel about it. I personally I'm very neutral on it all, but yeah, I can talk about it more if we really want to, but I don't think we need to, so.
Of label with small shards of quality here and there. Many great songs were released over the course of this year, like Ding Dong, Droids, 505, and Uncaged, or the Elixir Nectar, AB, and Instinct. I'm just saying that if the people who are directing this label listened more to the fan base, I feel like it'd be on a sturdier pillar. Alas,
Okay, that's an interesting note. If listen to the fan base, then they would be on a sturdier pillar. That's a very interesting note. So my view of this has changed quite a bit since I've started my own channel here. I am not a huge channel. I have, 2.2 thousand subscribers. Like, I really don't have that many subscribers. I'm not that big at all. I've noticed, though, you guys sometimes give suggestions, you want to see this, you want to see that, you want to do this, you want to do that, you want to see me do this, you want to see me do that. You give lots of suggestions, and I welcome them, and I tell you to keep suggesting them. Some of the ideas are great, some ideas are not. Some ideas are not as great, and I don't have anything in specific, but there's some ideas that aren't that great, and that's things I don't want to go, but not the direction the channel I want to go. And if I just did everything that you guys wanted me to do, this channel would not be, I actually think, would not be the highest quality that I wanted it to be, what I want to do. So I understand that now from this perspective of a Darlington or the people that are running Monstercat nowadays, is that maybe just to a more extreme level, we don't know how many people were actually that mad at NFTs. Maybe that was we have our own real niche community here within the niche of Monstercat. Maybe that was 5% of us. Maybe 5% of us didn't like the NFTs. And there's just a 95% of the other people that just either don't care or enjoyed them. We don't really know. We really don't. And so we don't know the results. We don't know the data unless we actually had worked at Monstercat and had the data and had that kind of stuff. So I understand that, and I disagree with the sentiment that you should listen to the fans Yes, you need to listen to the fans. You need to listen to fans. You need to listen to people that watch your stuff, because those are the people that watch your stuff. And if you don't make stuff that they will enjoy, they will stop watching you. 100%. But we can't just only listen to what they're saying. So, and I don't think, I think that if Stanley would have clarified a little bit more, I think they would have said something similar along those lines. But yes, listen to fans, but don't give them the ultimate say in everything you guys do and everything that a creator does.
Monstercat needs to wake up, because I don't remember Monstercat being this bad of a kitty. Is that it? Is that the second video? Is it over? Yeah, it is. Remember to shoot the like button with a minute.
Okay, so in the end, let's think about this as a whole. I actually agree with most of the stuff I think from this video. There's a lot of everything all throughout this video, and you obviously hear my comments, but I think for the most part I understood these points, and I understood the sentiment, and I got it. Maybe I'll say that. I don't want to say, I know I've said a lot already this video. I don't want to say anything too harshly one way or another, just because there's a lot in this video. There's a lot in this content. And so, I think in the end, it was a solid video. I like the editing. It's really fun. It's really funny. But also just turn down the music a little bit. Just turn the music a little bit on the next one. It's a little too loud over your voice. But other than that, see, this is me saying what you should do, so maybe I'm just being hypocritical. This is me just being hypocritical, but thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Bowtied Media. Let me know what you thought of this video, the original. I would love to hear any and all thoughts, and let's keep this conversation open. And I expected this video to be a little bit more spicy, so it wasn't too bad. And I think there were a lot of good points, a lot of points that I disagreed with, and everything in between. But that is it. I will see you guys in another video.